Episode 25 of the Marketing Life podcast. This is Taylor Timothy, your host. Guys, we have a different episode on our hands today. I got Wesley Bledsoe, and me and him are actually just going to be discussing some sketchy things that digital marketing agencies are doing this year, last year, and all the years to come. So some signs to look out for, but let's not waste any more time and dive right in. So Wes, in this episode today, the first thing I want us to talk about is just how do digital agencies actually even get started?
So I think we should start out by saying we don't hate all marketing agencies.
Not all of them, but there's a lot of good ones and there's definitely a lot of bad ones.
Yeah, and I think you were before the podcast we were talking about how probably 95% of our clients have complained about a previous marketing agency that they've hired that just hasn't produced results or set up the wrong expectations, all kinds of different things. And so I think, to really examine where the issues are coming, you kind of have to look at how marketing agencies are started. And so basically how it works is a marketing guy gets really good at it and gets confident enough to go out on his own, and then starts acquiring clients. So let's say they build up to 5 to 6 clients. Well, at a certain point, you're maxed out on time. And so at that point, you either bring on a partner or some kind of hire. So let's assume they bring on a partner. Well, now they can maybe get to about 15 clients. And again, they're maxed out. But at this point, their clients are still getting great results. These are two really competent marketers who can deliver results and are good at what they do. Well, really the issues come when you scale. So they want to build to 25 or 50 clients. Well, I mean, where are those marketing hires coming from?
Colleges, they're posting on Indeed, different places like that. So, yeah, they might have a marketing degree, but their professor has never ran a Facebook ad campaign. Nobody has ever showed them how to run a campaign. Or if they are showing them, then more than likely the teacher didn't even, or he ran a campaign like 10 years ago. And so the platform has changed completely.
Exactly.
So that's from my experience, they'll just post on Facebook, hey, we're looking to hire somebody for marketing. Oh, you look like a good fit. We're going to pull you on and we're just going to hurry and teach you real quick how this works.
Absolutely. And the reality is there's some phenomenal teachers out there that are still running some marketing that can teach the real skills, but the vast majority do not have the time or really any incentive to continue up with all the changes happening in marketing. And so it's safe to assume that most people in college or recent graduates have very little experience or very little knowledge about running actual campaigns for clients. And I think what really the issue that happens there is I've hired recent graduates, and what takes place is there's this false sense of knowledge where they have a marketing degree, they just went through 4 years, they took all these classes, but
they don't know anything.
They don't know anything. And we're not bashing school. School's great.
I graduated from college.
Yeah.
No regrets.
Yeah, it's awesome. You can learn good skills there, but the reality is when it comes to the real day-to-day work of handling campaigns for a client, you just don't have the skills to do that yet. But oftentimes, the recent graduates with this false sense of education don't understand that they have to continue learning at the rate they have been with school, but they have to do it on their own now if they're going to be a successful marketer. But again, so you've scaled to 25 clients. Lay out, what that looks like, Taylor.
Yeah, so most of the companies that I've seen that are digital agencies, they have a bunch of sales guys that know all the lingo, the terms, and so what happens, they get on the phone, they sell you, they turn you over to a marketing manager. The marketing manager, in all honesty, most of the time he knows marketing, he understands marketing, but the problem is the people underneath him, he's working with 5 to 10 different people that all have different job roles, and he's telling them what needs to be done for his 10 clients, but these guys that are his minions, so-called, or what I'd call them, are the people that are being hired from college, and they're the ones that are basically creating and pushing all these campaigns. And then you're talking to the marketing manager that knows his talk, and he knows how to walk and talk everything about digital marketing and say the things that make your ears just go ring-a-ding-ding. I love it.
Absolutely. And the reality is, when you really examine it, it's the people that don't have the expertise that are touching the campaigns. It's the people with the real knowledge and the real skills get put in a position of leadership where they're not actually doing the work. And so you're seeing failure at a lot of agencies because the people actually doing the work don't have the skills, and in some cases don't understand that they don't have the skills or how to get the right skills to do it. And so that's where a lot of failure is coming from, and that's why a lot of people engage with marketing agencies and don't see results, because it is difficult to scale an agency. It's difficult to put real talent that sticks around, because if you're a good marketer, you're going to often do your own agency, right? Which it becomes difficult if you're an agency to really deliver quality work.
I totally agree. So, like, we've just kind of like exposed marketing agencies, like completely opened them up and said, look, this is what's going on. These are the problems. So, like, if we have some sort of marketer on here that has hopes and dreams to become a digital marketer, what's he supposed to do?
So it really, to me, comes back to, you have to avoid the false sense of education. You have to understand that if you want to learn the skills, you've got to start doing it. So if I'm in college, I'm going to go pick up a company that's going to let me experiment with their Facebook campaigns. If I have a little money saved up, you can push a product. But the reality is, alongside your education at school, you have to be finding ways to actually do the work, actually run Facebook campaigns, actually do some AdWords. Because even if you're on Udemy and there's an awesome AdWords course on Udemy, even if you take the course, none of it's going to stick unless you're actually applying it to a business, whether it's your own or someone else's. And so you have got to find a way to find the real skills. And the only way to do that is actually doing the work. And the reality is, if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to go acquire a client, you're going to come out of that degree so far ahead of the competition, you're going to be able to pick where you want to work.
Yeah, I totally agree to that. Yeah, basically, if I had to give any advice to an upcoming marketer who wants to get into marketing, just like Wes said, like, there are companies out there that don't have marketing managers that even know what they're doing with Facebook, and basically, they will allocate budgets for you if you can really sell them, and they'll let you spend that money on Facebook if it's going back into their business. So I would highly recommend looking for companies like that. Say, hey, let me spend $5 a day on your Facebook ads. Most companies have the budgets that they can allocate to that. Okay, so let's talk about a bigger business. We just bashed the companies. So what are some of what would you recommend to a business, Wes, that needs an ad agency? Like, they need to be running Facebook ads. They need to be doing these things. What would you recommend for them?
Well, we've kind of laid out, okay, where do the issues really come into play? It becomes interesting because you kind of need to nail down the specific needs of the business. If it's video, you probably are going to be just fine hiring a bigger agency, because with video, if they're going to be successful, everything's out in the open. You can see their work. You can see the work of other businesses that they've done work for. The only concern there is, do their videos convert, right? And so you kind of have to do a deeper dive to determine whether they can create videos that convert. But you can see the quality of their work, different things like that. I think the real concern comes in when you hand over your ad spend to an agency, where it gets a lot murkier to determine whether this agency is someone that can really produce results, because a lot of times this agency has found, for a couple businesses, these massive results that come from one-off ad campaigns. And in most agencies, it's 2 to 3 clients that pay all the bills and make them profitable and different things like that. And so looking at the size of an agency is really important. I would lean towards a smaller agency where the person running it is hands-on because they're the people with the skills. You can be really confident in the owner having really good marketing skills, because that agency is not going to grow without that. And so, finding an agency where you can find, the real talent at the top, hands-on, leading these campaigns, actually logging into Facebook, putting campaigns together, that's a really important piece of it, and what I'd look for if I'm a bigger business.
So you'd recommend, just to put this all in one little cup here, smaller ad agencies to hire.
Right. Or people freelancing. So basically...
Okay, why freelancers?
Because they do not eat unless they produce results, right? An agency can put in a lot of fluff with a lot of companies that don't necessarily need results and will hang on to a company for a year or 2 years waiting for results to happen, right? Because you can get in a bunch of established companies. If you're a freelancer and you approach a company, you have to produce results within 3 months or you're gone, right? You have a
Yes.
Yeah. You have a very personal relationship with these companies, and they're always go in a little bit nervous. You're on your own, different things like that. And so they typically require a lot more data and want to see results a lot quicker. And so I think, for a freelancer to eat, they have to produce. For an agency to eat, that's not necessarily true. And so it's a safer bet with a freelancer. And it's a lot more personal relationship. They're going to get to know your business a lot better than an agency would trying to manage 10 clients at once.
I totally agree to that. Amen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That's right.
I want to do one more comparison before we dive into all the things to watch out for. So, would you say in-house marketing team or ad agency?
Freelancer, if that's an option.
Freelancer, if that's an option. Okay, but between the two, because we figure you think freelancer is the best resource, but now ad agency versus in-house marketing team.
I mean, I think you have to have some type of in-house marketing just to produce like good graphics for your social media and to make yourself look like $1 million company or billion, whatever you're at. And so there is importance when it comes to certain marketing pieces that should be in-house. When it comes to running ads, you're going to have to pay that person a lot of money if they're talented enough to produce awesome results on AdWords or Facebook. So if you have the budget, awesome. Take someone who's doing freelancing, bring them in-house, and pay them really good money to do it. If you can't scale and make that position, pay enough for that position to be profitable for you or make sense, then hire some people for graphics and writing in-house, and then hire a freelancer to handle ad campaigns is the direction I would go. So a mix in most cases, or pay a freelancer a lot of money, basically what they're worth, to produce amazing results for you in-house.
Okay, I can agree to that.
Right, because I mean, most freelancers are willing to take a pay cut for security. So say they've got 5 clients, paying them $2,500 a month. What's the math on that? They're
$125,000.
$125,000. So you could come in and cut out that $25,000, pay them $100,000, give them benefits, and that's most freelancers would jump on that, right? Especially if they're growing families, whatever. So there's an opportunity there, but the reality is it's just not cheap to really bring on good talent.
Yeah, I amen to that. Good talent is not cheap.
But if you look at it the other way, you could pay a freelancer $5,000 a month, save money, and get the same results. So if you're looking at cost analysis, you're better off hiring a freelancer to run your ad campaigns. Okay.
Sounds good, man. So let's dive into some of these things that I believe are sketchy. So the first one I want to talk about is like, how big are they? So why is that sketchy?
Well, I think we've touched on this a lot, but if they've scaled massively, there is a big group of minions running all the campaigns that don't know what they're doing.
Amen. So let's talk now about like low cost. So a lot of times there's a lot of agencies out there that are like, hey, it's $300 a month. Why is that sketchy?
You tell me.
I believe it's sketchy because right up front, to me, that's cookie cutter, and good results aren't cheap.
No, they're not. And honestly, if a freelancer is really good, they probably want a piece of commission. If they're in a place where they're not desperate or anything like that, they probably want a piece of commission or growth or a chunk up front and then, a high upside. A company coming in asking for $500 a month, handling 200 to 300 clients or 500 clients, the only thing they can produce is cookie cutter stuff, which can produce some results. But the reality is you can't scale off cookie cutter. So it'll fill some holes initially, but you're not going to scale with it.
Yeah, totally agree to that. So this next thing I want to talk about is one of my biggest pet peeves when dealing with agencies or dealing with a client coming on board is transparency. So I've worked with a lot of companies, transferring over to me, and a lot of times they don't have access to former AdWords. They don't have access to their Facebook accounts. So let's talk about transparency. Why is that sketchy?
It's interesting because at the agency we grew up at, we marketed with complete transparency, and that's how we got all their clients. And so I think this has been drilled into my head as well, where if you are trying to hold your customer hostage or your client hostage, you're probably not that good at your job.
Right there, red flag.
Big red flag.
Huge red flag.
Why wouldn't you give them access to Facebook? Why would you have to take access away on AdWords? It doesn't make any sense. The only reason you need to do that is because you're bad and you don't want clients leaving because it's a nightmare for them to leave. Or you could just produce good results. Everyone has access. Everyone sees results. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, I totally agree to that. Yeah, one client I worked with, the web host took hostage of the domain. And it's like, the clients I work with, the domain's theirs, the hosting's theirs, the AdWords accounts are theirs, Google Analytics is everything is theirs. I'm just a tool in their toolbox that comes aboard and helps them out, produce results. So if you guys aren't being transparent, I will just say up front, you will gain more trust from your clients if they can actually see what you're doing. Trust me, they're hiring you because they don't want to do it. They just want someone that they can trust and bring on board. So the more transparent you are with your clients, I promise you, it will just be better in the long run.
Yeah, the reality is if you're a business, you should look at all these things as assets. Your AdWords account, data over 3 years is a massive, massive leg up if you bring someone in-house or hire an agency, because you can look at what didn't work, what worked, what worked for a minute and then dropped off. That is a huge asset to you. Obviously, hosting, domain, those should be assets you own, no one messes with. And as you grow, it becomes as important as a location, like a physical location, right? And so you need to be really protective of that. But yeah, I'm big on transparency. I mean, going back to the agency we came up from, we would literally tell clients or potential clients how we did what we did, and they still came to us to let us do it because there was the trust factor there, and they didn't want to do it themselves or didn't have time to do it themselves. And so yeah, transparency has been successful for me throughout my career.
Be transparent. I'm telling you guys, if agencies aren't being transparent, to me they're being sketchy. So let's talk about overpromising. To you, Wes, what is overpromising?
Well, I'm a sales rep at heart, and so our salesman, I have done this before. And it's just getting hyped up, and as conversations are happening, say, yes, we'll do this for you. Yes, we'll run your AdWords. Yes, we'll run your Facebook, as you're trying to close the sale. You may initially come in and say, hey, for $1,500 a month, we'll run your AdWords. We'll do a phenomenal job. We'll create all the content, do A/B testing, blah, blah, blah. And then as you get closer to closing the sale, you toss in Facebook, you toss in email campaigns, and now a client's paying you $1,500 when they should be paying you $5,000, and is never going to be as happy as the $5,000 client because the value just doesn't match up. Even if you're producing all this crazy value, they'll still see you as a $1,500 agency, and that's your value. And so it's for me, I don't know if it's different for you, but for me, it's always when I try and close an agency and offer more and more and more. and then set up wrong expectations, because you cannot get paid $1,500 and give $5,000 worth of work and do that long term.
Yeah, no, I totally agree to that. For me, like overpromising would be an agency coming to me and saying, I will cut your cost per lead in a week.
Yeah.
We'll
get you to the first page of Google
for $2 in the first week.
Yeah.
You know, my big thing with overpromising, I think it's just making sure you set the expectation of time. So a good marketer is going to take time to produce amazing results. Like, amazing marketer is going to take time to produce amazing results.
Right.
So my thing is just overpromising is just setting up time frames of, look, I can do this in a week. I can do this in 7 days, 8 days, and I can show you the results. Promising results up front, dropping numbers like, I guarantee I can get you a lead for $2 a lead. They should not be saying that up front. And the reason why I believe that is every business is different. So they're saying those things just to try and close you and make the sell. And for me, that starts to get a little bit sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, I think time is the biggest part of it. Obviously, trying to claim ads or leads are going to cost X amount or things like that. That's a massive guess up front. So that is a good sign of overpromising. But yeah, I mean, the reality is, what do you think the timeline is for SEO to start showing results?
2 years now, in my opinion.
2 years. I mean, you can see some in 8 months.
You can start to see things in 8 months, but if you're promising page one of stuff, you can't even promise that anymore.
No,
especially like in the addiction world, addiction treatment, it's endless with SEO. I talked to my buddy, SEO King. You know, he's really good at SEO, and he was working on an addiction treatment. They were producing 25 articles a week, and still weren't seeing to page one. So people are spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on trying to get to page one in the addiction treatment world. So I personally, think that's an overpromise with SEO.
Right. And if you go only SEO, a lot of times you're never going to see results.
Yeah. I believe you got to be doing it all. You guys hear me say that all the time.
Got to do it all. And the reality is, how are you going to get this client to 8 to 10 touches? If that's the goal, which typically is my goal, how do I get them to 8 to 10 touches? If you're only doing Facebook, if you're only doing SEO, it becomes very, very difficult. But if you're doing Facebook, AdWords, SEO, YouTube, and retargeting, all of them, awesome. You're going to get to those 8 touches. You're going to see a lot of conversions.
Yeah, so what Wes means by 8 touches is getting the message in front of our potential buyer 8 times. So just to kind of give you guys a rundown there. So next thing let's talk about is, do they have case studies? So I want to talk about case studies. Case studies are, yes, I believe, are a huge tool to create validity for your agency. But one of the big things I have to always ask is, how many case studies do they actually have? So I believe if a company has 1 to 2, you might need to question them a little bit. I think companies need to have multiple ways, whether it's, even if it's 2 companies, let's see multiple ways that they were able to produce results. So maybe multiple campaign case studies is one of the things I think you guys should be looking for with digital agencies.
I think also doing a dive into what they're showing in these case studies. I think, a good percentage of the time I'm seeing case studies about increase in traffic. Well, that's awesome. I can go into any company and increase traffic depending on the ad budget, right?
Yes.
Give me a $50,000 ad budget. I will get freaking 10-cent clicks on Facebook all day for you. You will have the sickest traffic numbers. It'll be amazing. Will I produce you any leads? Maybe not. Maybe. But the reality is, if you're looking at case studies, there needs to be a direct tie to revenue. And because if you're hiring marketing agencies and not worrying about the revenue they're going to generate for you, you probably have too big of a budget. But the reality is, if agencies cannot produce that closed loop where they can say a lead was generated and it got called by a sales rep and then it closed and produced revenue, they're not doing their job right. So case studies need to show how it increased revenue.
I fully agree. Yeah. Don't, if a case study is showing you views and page likes and clicks, that doesn't matter. Let's talk about the conversions. Yeah. Ask them how many conversions they generated from increasing that much traffic. That's one of the big things with case studies. Look at the actual results, the end result.
We can get you 1 cent views on YouTube. I guarantee you we can get you 1 cent views on YouTube. It'll be the wrong audience or so broad it doesn't matter, but we can light those numbers up. We can light them up. It just won't mean anything for your revenue.
Yeah. That's the end result. How much money are you going to make by hiring them? What's your ROI on hiring that agency? I like that. So, next thing, how do they measure success? We kind of just touch bases on that. You know, are they showing you views? Are they showing you likes? You know, you want to see actual conversions. So we'll skip past that one. The next thing, let's go over, do they answer their phone?
So one of my favorite scenes from The Office is Dwight and Jim are at a sales call, and Jim's asked to borrow the owner's phone, pulls it over, puts it on speakerphone, dials a number, and is and basically it gets put on a waiting list for the phone to be answered. So Jim's going through the pitch, and the guy kind of looks over, questioning what Dwight's doing, and he says, "Hey, this is one of our competitors. I'm waiting on the line." And then he says, "This is Dunder Mifflin." Calls the phone number. Kelly immediately answers, tries to start a conversation, and Dwight hangs up on her, but closes the deal. So it's like a perfect example of, are these people going to be accessible to you? Because that is of massive importance if you're going to trust these people with your ad campaigns.
Yes, I think that is a huge thing. A lot of people that I worked with in the past, clients, you know, they were like, you actually answer your phone. You know, all my clients actually have my personal cell phone number.
That's crazy. They can stalk you.
They can text me. They can call me. FaceTime me if they need to. Like, it's just being very transparent again. I think that's super important when looking into your digital marketing agencies. If you have a current digital marketing agency, can you get a hold of them when you call them? Do they put you on a waiting list? Do they call you back in 3 days? Online marketing takes a lot of time and effort, but these guys need to be accessible to you.
So going back to this personal cell phone, how much does a client have to pay you to get sexy pics?
They can't. My wife will be mad at me.
How much do they have to pay you for Jay to be on board?
Oh my gosh.
I guess it's a no. Not an option.
No sexy pics.
All right.
So the next thing I want to talk about is asking them how many actual failures they had. So the reason why I bring this up, because if a marketer's telling you he's never failed, what do you think about that, Wes?
I mean, I failed countless times. So, you know, the reality is, like, if you're a successful marketer, it's because you've A/B tested so much that you've finally gotten to the success. So if you haven't failed, you probably started one campaign and were cool with the results that came from it, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's super crazy, because I can tell you almost every campaign I turn on, it fails.
Yeah.
So if they don't have any failures, they're just trying to fill your sack full of just their successes, which that's a lie. So online marketers, every single online marketer should be failing at some point, but then at some point they hit a home run and they have tons of success. So just a couple more things I want to go over, Wes. Online marketing agency comes to you and says, I want you to custom code me a website. What's your thought on actual custom code for small businesses nowadays?
Oh, that's crazy. If there is not a very, very, very specific reason you have to have a custom coded site, you're crazy. And I mean, personally, I use WordPress. I think when people hear WordPress, the biggest concern that comes in is security, which is a legit concern. But the reality is, if you want to use WordPress and be secure, go hop on Google Cloud, and they have a one-click WordPress install that comes with amazing security, and you'll have phenomenal speed, everything like that. Your butt's covered. But the reality is, if you are spending like over $5,000 on a site and you're a small business, you're paying too much.
Way too much. I personally use WordPress as well. And for the 5 years that I've been doing online marketing, I have yet to have, knock on wood, wherever it is in this room, had a website crash due to the theme I use and due to the hosting I use. I've had 0 websites crash. The only time I've had anything crash because I paid for cheap hosting. I used HostGator. I will drop HostGator right now. I used them and I got a virus on my server on HostGator.
I have had that before, and that's why I push for people to start using Google Cloud with the one-click install, because you are covered there.
Yeah, no need, guys, to custom code. If you're using WordPress, just spend a little money on good hosting, and you won't have any problems. And then don't allow your guy to go in there and put code inside of WordPress. There's no need. There's themes out there that will do exactly what you want your website to look like, I promise you. And if you are going to make changes because you think you want it, think about it. Is it going to increase conversion on your website? More than likely, no. It's not going to, the things that you want to change. It's all about conversion and how well your site converts.
Right, and we love WordPress because of how quickly you can A/B test. I can put up a new web page, and depending on how many changes are happening within an hour when I'm using WordPress, right? And so it's all about, when you're a small business, you are going to succeed over the big guys because you're more flexible and you can make changes quicker. And so that has to align with your website as well.
Gotcha. Again, guys, no need to custom code. You hear that from me all the time on this podcast.
There's some coders out there that want to murder you right now.
I know, probably, but it's just the truth. So if you're a custom coder, go build me some sick apps and some sick software.
The sickest.
So, last thing, Wes, that I want us to talk about is how many people do you work with in this industry? So now this question can go both ways. So if you're asking the digital agency, how many people do you work with in this industry? Some of the things that come to my mind right up front is, okay, they work with a lawyer in New York and he's my neighbor. Do I hire the agency? No, because you're competing against your neighbor down the street. So some of the things you have to ask yourself is how many people they are actually working with in that specific industry, and if that's the case, where are they located? Have you dealt with this?
Well, yeah, and it's interesting because there are benefits, obviously, if an agency focuses on an industry because they understand it really well.
Yes.
And have likely found a niche in it that kills it. I know you have some ad campaigns in industries that I'm trying to get you to launch for a bunch of clients because they're killing it and they're producing amazing results. But the reality is, if you are running 2 campaigns in the same area, all you're doing is driving up your cost per lead, because that's how Facebook makes money. If there's 100 businesses running ads in the same industry, in the same locations, your cost is going to be very high, bottom line. So if an agency is trying to run campaigns for 2 companies in the same area or multiple companies in the same area, all they're doing is driving up price. And there's a certain amount of leads that can happen, and so you're just sharing those leads.
Yep, totally. The one thing I can say that there's a pro to this, obviously it could be cookie cutter in the sense, so that could be a pro because they already have a bunch of campaigns that they can copy and run into different location, which obviously will allow you to get fast results. So this could be a pro, but you do need to ask, how many people are you working with in my industry? Where are they located? Because if they're not willing to tell you where they're at, more than likely they're your competitor down the street and they're just going to hike your cost up per lead.
Right.
So definitely ask that question as well. So Wes, to wrap up this podcast, is there anything else that you feel like we need to touch bases on as far as sketchy things that agencies are doing?
It felt real good to bash on agencies.
It felt real good.
It did. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of good agencies out there that produce good results, but often those are the ones that kept it small and learned that they have a limit to quality work and have leadership that's still very involved. And so those are phenomenal. And honestly, if you're trying to get in the marketing industry, agencies are a phenomenal place to work, because you can get dumped into a team that handles 10 clients and you will get just a ton of awesome opportunities to do stuff. There will be some failures. Welcome to marketing. And that's probably the greatest way if you're hoping to eventually run your own marketing agency or be a freelancer or whatever. You probably need to start in one. But the reality is you're not going to be successful unless you start as early as you can learning how to learn marketing, because there is a very direct skill that comes with learning to learn marketing that will really take you to the next level and put you in a position to be at the company you want to be or running your own thing down the road. But it's all about being hungry and understanding you have to do it for real. You can't rely on college. You can't rely on just Udemy. You have to start doing things.
Amen to that. Obviously, I can put a plug in here. My online course, guys. You can obviously take that. But the other advice that I'm going to give to somebody upcoming, I would say first thing you need to know how to do is actually build a website that works, functions, a website that obviously is going to be tracking all of your conversions, so you can actually see the results on Facebook, on YouTube, on AdWords. The next thing I would actually recommend is learning how to run Facebook ads, because there's a kind of a correlation between Facebook and AdWords, so you'll catch on to AdWords faster. AdWords is more advanced, in my opinion. So learn how to do Facebook first, then learn how to do AdWords, and then email, in my opinion, is just super simple. People overcomplicate email. Dive into email real quick. You'll get the hang of that one real quick. So go find a mentor if you need one, or start spending money yourself, and you guys will crush it.
Yeah. And we talked about transparency earlier in this podcast, but just to give a plug for Taylor's, what's it called?
My course.
Just to give a plug for Taylor's course.
Online Marketing Master Course.
The Online Marketing Master Course possibly went too transparent. Possibly gave too much information. So if you're purchasing it, you're going to get a crazy amount of value. And if for me, I wouldn't give them that much. Or at least it would have made you spend more money on it. So I think there's phenomenal value there.
Well, thank you, Wes. So, guys, let's end this podcast here. This is end of episode 25. Okay, guys, end of episode 25. There was so much information here about sketchy things with digital marketing agencies. Like I said, there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of sketchy ones. But if you guys are looking to become an online marketer, I promise you guys, like Wes said, this online marketing course is going to teach you guys everything from start to finish on how to build your website, how to run Facebook ads, how to run YouTube ads, how to run AdWords ads, how to set up your email campaigns, how to create content for your business, and much, much more. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at taylortimothy.com, and peace.